an interesting area where in which the nutritionist has to work, and also the veterinarian should know what are all the uh, especially the things need to be administered to the wildlife is concerned. Hence, in such things, the wildlife in animals is a different under captive conditions and free ranging conditions. Both are there, and the zoos there are two types of the animals are there. One is captive, and the other is the free ranging condition. So the free ranging is feed, especially the controlled activity of the animal, captive and wild animal species, unlike in the case of free ranging and wild animal species. So then both the type, the uh, especially this differs, and different feed habits are in the different captive wild animals, because there are wild variety, no, so many varieties are there, carnivores, herbivores, and so many things. Hence, each nutritional strategy takes place different, and we should understand what is the requirement of the nutrient in terms of the proteins, fat, then also the minerals and vitamins to different wildlife. Then, so coming to the feeding strategy to the wildlife, then we have to have the scientific mode of feeding strategy to the animals, wild animals, places. So the field of wild animal nutrition is limited compared to the domesticated animal, in which lot of researches already happened, because the wild animals less thing is done, especially on the nutritional aspect. Whereas the wild mammals are some same as domesticated mammal. Both mammals do require 45 to 47 known nutrients in terms of the energy, protein, etc. But in the most of the Indian zoos, animals are fed on the basis of their natural food habit most of the time. Suppose a carnivores, they eat the flesh. Suppose they are the herbivores, they eat the grass and other thing, and hence accordingly they are fed. And the animals and zookeepers should know this thing. And such type of the diet may not be balanced for animal and may result in deficiency. Hence, we should know what are all the balanced diet to the wild animal. Then classification of wild animals based on feeding behavior. Number one, the herbivores. We know that lot of herbivorous animals are there, starting from the deer, antelopes, then also the wild bison, and many more. So they also do have the similar rumen structure, very similar to that of the cattle, and the bacteria and protozoa are there. Then the feed resources of these animals have general low nutrition values but are bulky in nature. So among the herbivores, the one's complex stomach or ruminants is number one. Then apart from this one, non-ruminants are also there, which are also herbivores, which are the hind gut fermenters or colonic digestion takes place. And the examples of the herbivorous animals is gaur, deer, giraffe, antelopes, then black bucks, wild bisons or the wild buffaloes. So these are all the herbivores. Then the pre-gastric fermenters are available in wild fauna like kangaroo, say pre-gastric fermenters, wild pig, then hippo, and similarly hind-eat fermenters are the wild rabbits, guinea pigs, then the capybara, cecal fermentation is there. Then zebra is also another animal in which the cecal fermentation is there. Then wild asses or the donkeys, and these have got the colonic fermentation and also existing under the captive conditions. And other thing is the cecotrophs are the ones which are produced in the morning and are soft materials that are often consumed directly from the anal region. So this is a very interesting terminology. Please note down this thing. Cecotrophs means the animals do these things are rabbits and hares produce these soft vehicle pellets. They have high protein, fiber, and water content with increased amounts of the vitamin B complex. So they consume it once again and get the remaining part of the residual nutrients in it. So they are called as the cecotrophs. So the carnivores are also meat eating animals and require highly digestible and very highly fermentable food quality. Carnivores are the one. Whereas these animals always do require the different type of the meat every day for their maintenance as well as the production, and various species of this group require most of the time unique type of the nutrition. Then the feline species are dietary requirement of this amino acid taurine, it is required. Then the vitamin A and essentially vitamin fatty acid like the arachidonic acid is also required to such animals. Hence, we need to concentrate on such things. And apart from this one, the omnivores are there, just like the human beings, which are consuming both meat and also the vegetables. So the rodents, flying foxes, then sloth bear, then non-human primates, then pigs. Many species of the birds are omnivores, and they also consume the both carbohydrates and they require the protein. And a moderate amount of the protein is required, and also the fat are received from meat sources to this animal. And just like the human being, both of these animals do also require the meat and the vegetable. And the carbohydrates, it is the chief or important source of the energy in case of all the wild animals coming to the nutrients. But the ruminants like deers or giraffe or antelope make use of the complex carbohydrates like cellulose. It can be digested by the bacterial fermentation of the rumen, and rumen microflora, they help to convert these complex carbohydrates into the simple sugars. So these consume cereal grains, roots, tubers, and fruits that have got high carbohydrates. And fruits are the one which are very rich in pentoses and hexoses. And tubers and seeds are rich in case of the glucose. Then proteins are the one which are more significantly required to almost all the animals, especially the carnivores do require lot of uh, the proteins. So the proteins comprise ingredients of the internal framework of the cells, especially the interstitial like dentine, osteoid tissue, then connective tissue. All these are very much needed on the proteins. Then essential amino acids like arginine, methionine, threonine, leucine, isoleucine, lysine, etc. to be given very importance during the provisions of the protein to the carnivorous animals and all other animals also. Whereas the fats, these provide fat soluble vitamins and also the ADEK. Then there are the component of different hormones and also cell protectors. Then optimum amount of the fat is a must to the wildlife, especially the winter season. Then fossils like elephant, they are belong seals. Elephant seals may spend considerable time on land without any access to the food, while sucking the pups are there. Or such occasions, fat is the major nutrition source which is stored in their body, and they survive without anything. Then the animals like bear in the cool region, it is uh, during the hibernation. Hibernation is also the sleep during the winter sleep. Then lot of fat need to be accumulated, and whenever they go for hibernation, this can be used as the source of energy for winter months, 3 or 4 months without any energy, they are going to be utilized. Whereas the another thing is the refuges. The animals, especially the herbivorous animal, do require the grass, legume, silages, straw fodder, hulls, shells, maize, etc. from the refuges. And they are bulky in nature but are poor in energy content and are rich in fibers. So the refuges are very much required for the rumination of almost all the ruminant animals. And the concentrates are also required, low in case of fiber but are rich in protein and energy content. The important concentrates do contain the grains, non-cereal seeds like the amaranthus green, grain milling byproducts like the rice bran, wheat bran, beet pulp, citrus pulp, molasses, etc. Fall under this category. Then fish meal, sunflower meal, cotton seed meal, etc. provide about more than 25% CP or the crude protein. Then mineral mixture is also another thing which is including the supply of the limestone, DCP or the dicalcium phosphate, salt and trace minerals, etc. So among the minerals, zinc is the one which is very much required on the hair growth, and calcium with phosphorus are also to be given to the maximum significance in case of the wild animals, or they suffer from the deficiency of these orders, and they may develop the bones disorders like rickets or osteodystrophy, etc. So the nursing animals always do require additional allowances of the calcium in their dietary items. So general nutrients as feedstuffs, vitamin is also another thing which is very much required to the animals. Both fat soluble and water soluble vitamins are required. So, fat soluble vitamins, vitamin A, D, E3, and the B complexes, B1, B6, B12, etc., need to be given in sufficient quantity to the animal. And the species like red vented bulbul, then frugivorous bats, guinea pigs, non human primates, etc., need the direct supply of vitamin C because they lack the enzyme L gluconolactone oxidase, which is required for the synthesis of the vitamin C. So this need to be remembered and a very important thing because they lack this enzyme L-gluconolactone oxidase, and which is very much required for the vitamin C. Then the water is one of the most essential nutrient which is required from all the wild animals. So they find their own water sources and move to there. Then certain species may not take water much like the black bucks. This is an exception. But the water requirement may be met by the water content of the food itself through the oxidation, organic concentration, and also to the already sometimes some feed do contain certain quantity of the water. Then very high moisture diets are generally preferred by wild animals like non-human predators like chimpanzee, the monkey, baboons, etc. And also, the wild ruminants mostly drink water either in the late evening or in the early morning. And the camels are having the capacity to take more water at a time, and because their RBC can swell to the highest extent and sustain the water deprivation for longer time, and they will sometimes the animals like the felids like tiger, cheetah, lion, etc., require the provision of water ad libitum. Always they require because they are always in the requirement of the good quantity water. Then what are all the guidelines? Standard guidelines of the feeding of captive animals, especially in case of zoos. So the veterinarians who are in the zoos should know certain guidelines for feeding the herbivores. So the herbivores diet should be 25 to 30% dry matter basis, and in no case it should exceed 30% and of the total dry matter basis, especially the concentrates should not excess more than that of the 30%, or else they will lead to lactic acidosis. Then the concentrate mixture should be supplemented with a balanced mineral mixture at the rate of 2%, and fruits and vegetables are not required to the herbivores, especially the ruminants. Then to avoid overfeeding or underfeeding, they should be offered in different feeding stations inside enclosures because they may fight for the food, and the strongest will get more food and the weakest may not get the food. So many zoos feed green fodder ad libitum, restricting the amount of the concentrates, and fodder would not only economical but will also reduce the refusals. So sufficient fodder should be there in the zoo. Then general guidelines for the omnivores, wild fruits are different nutrient components than that of the cultivated fruits. So the cultivated fruits contain more sugar, less fiber and less calcium than that of the wild fruits. Thus, it may not always be a correct practice to feed large quantities of the cultivated fruits like the apple, banana, etc. But to meet the calcium requirement, these fruit eating animals, it is the most difficult task. Just like the fruit eating animals, like some of the birds and also the non-human primates, then they feed large quantity of the green leafy vegetables to them to meet their nutritional requirement. Then apart from this one, the general guidelines for feeding carnivores. So these carnivores may include several species of the animals with diversified food habit, and this generalization is limited largely to the meat eating animal species. So the muscle meat is deficient in calcium. However, the bones are regularly chewed. Especially these animals are always chewing the bones to fulfill their requirement of the calcium and phosphorus. As you might have already seen that the domestic dogs do always require the bone to chew, and similarly the wolf, jackal, and the feline animals do always require the bones. And do not feed eggs, milk, etc. to obligate carnivores. Means if you are intended to improve vitamin supply, then go to a vitamin directly supplement. Obligate carnivores should not be administered with that of the eggs. Liver cannot be used as the supplement because of the hygienic issues are involved in feeding the liver. It should not be fed, and it is generally preferable to supplement the dietary vitamins. And smaller fields growing animals has got the lactating mothers and do not require the entire day, they do not require the feed. And freezing and thawing the meat before feeding is helpful in reducing the parasitic load, and regularly they should be administered with antiparasitic drugs or anthelmintics and also anticystoidal, trematodal drugs and acaricides. And strict code hygiene should be maintained in case of all times to avoid the food induced toxicities. Then these are all the recent research in the year 2013 on standardization of animal zoos diet in India. On 50 species are there. Then if you go to the Zoo Authority of the India website, you can get all these things wherein which they have recommended different type of the food material, and a veterinarian who is newly required recruited in a zoo can go for this thing. If a animal weight of a spotted deer is 70 kg, then we have to go for 6 kg quality green fodder with 500-gram balanced concentrate feed every day. 500 gram, maybe 250 in the morning or 250 in the evening, or else simply you can put it at one time. And apart from this one, the fruits and vegetables are not required to the deer. Please underline this thing. Then hog deer also require 3.75 kg of the green and 280 grams of the balance concentrates. Then bro entered deer. They also require 7 to 9 kg of the green powder with 500-gram concentrates. Barking deers, a special animal which weigh about 25 kgs, do require 2 to 3 kg of the green powder with 250 grams of the concentrates. And daily ration should be divided into 3 to 4 times. Fruit should be avoided to all the ruminant animal. Fruit should be avoided to all the ruminant animal. Then apart from this one, the black buck, it also requires the green fodder, four-horned antelope, gaur, giraffe also do require the different type of the food. Whereas the giraffe requires a concentrated balance like wheat brown 3.5 kg, Bengal brown 0.75 kg, crushed maize half kg, then 45 kg of the leguminous fodder because it weighs about 800 kg. Then carrot 2 kg, then 2 kg of the onion, 1 kg of the cabbage, and sweet potato 250 grams. And also we can offer them jaggery, then common salt every day. I think the cost of feed itself may go to the extent of more than 500 rupees every day. So the pigs should be fed with the mash 100 gram and green fodder with that of some tubers, etc. Then the civet cats, they should be administered with 100 gram of the meat every day except on the Fridays and 200 grams of the banana per day. The civet cats. Then the otter, once again 1 to 1.5 kg of the fish. Then Himalayan black bear, 400 grams of the cereal, 200 grams of the pulse, 1002 gram high protein calcium vegetables, and 45 gram jaggery. Then honey is also required to the Himalayan black bears with mineral mixture. Then binturong, it requires the soaked gram, banana, apple, egg, then bottle guard especially. Then fowls, they also require many type of the foods, including 100 grams of the green leafy vegetables and 50 grams of the colored vegetables. Then 5 gram garlic, 5 gram onion, 25 gram boiled egg, etc. So these are all the requirements of the wild animals, and everyone should know the veterinarian what is the requirement of each wild animal and has to provide the same thing, or else they will suffer from the nutritional deficiencies and may also succumb to the different types of the diseases which are happening due to the deficiency of the proteins, etc. Then coming to the zoo, where the animals have got captive, and the it's also called as the zoological park and exhibits wild animals. Then the zoos are always aesthetic and educational and conservation, and many veterinarians do take part in the zoo as the uh, especially the for treatment, and apart from the treatment they should always be involved in the feeding practice of the animal. Hence, they should know what are all the feed practice need to be understood every day. Then already we have told something, but additional to this, we have got certain other things. And already we have classified the animals into herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Then the pre-gastric fermenters are the kangaroo, wild pig, and hippopotamus, a very big animal. It's also a pre-gastric fermenters. Then the hindgut vermins are the rabbits, guinea pigs, then capybara, then zebra and wild asses. They are all called these colon fermenters. Then simple stomach wild animals are kangaroo, wild pig, hippopotamus. Whereas the complex stomach or the ruminants are deer, giraffe, antelope. Then the other things of aimed balanced nutrition to the zoo animals is to maintain their health and the properly, then acquiring good immune mechanism. Then the herbivores are commonly used herbivores are present especially in different zoos of the India are the black bucks, swamp deer, then chinkara deer, giraffe, hippopotamus, hog deer, spotted deer, sambar deer, and barking deer. Whereas the carnivores are Bengal tiger, white tiger, Indian leopard, jackal, common fox, Himalayan black bear, sloth bear, fishing cat, palm civet cat, hybrid lion, and jungle cat and hyena are the carnivores. Whereas the primates are always the whole log, gibbon, macaque bonnet, macaque stump-tailed, rhesus monkey, common langur, lion-tailed monkey, then chimpanzees. Whereas some rodents are also there, like Indian giant squirrel, flying squirrel, and Indian porcupine. So these are all the rodents. Then apart from this one, many other animals are also there, like the elephants. So elephants are belonging to a very big mimic level, then they are body weight is 3 to 7 ton, and they require very high concentrate feed, and their feeding habit is either graze or browse. So dry matter intake is 2% of the body weight. Means if this elephant is weighing about 5,000 kg, so it require about 5,000 into 0.2%. So such quantity of the feed is required, and the common feeds are grasses, then small plant, then bushes, then the fruit twigs, etc. Then they require tons of the food every day. Diet for the captive elephants, they require very high fiber forage material that are mainstay diet, and the grasses main component of the animal diet. And adult male may require 6 kg concentrate, then 225 kg of the green fodder, especially 4 ton body weight, 225%. Whereas the females do require 5 kg concentrate, then 165 kg of the green fodder, any green fodder. Then these browse are added at the rate of 10 to 20 of the total dry matter basis. So the elephant calf may require about 30% concentrate in the diet, and adult elephants 10% of the concentrates. So here we can see that some of the zoological park, the green fodder to the animals required are 200 kg, then jaggery 1 kg, mung bean 1 kg, rice 2, basra 1, and haldi 100 gram. Apart from this one, the salt 100 gram, tree fodder 60 kg, dry fodder 15 kg, then mustard oil 500 gram or half liter, then banana 22 banana per day. This is the nutritional requirement. And spotted deer is this one. Then the body weight of this spotted deer is about 35 to 85 kgs, and they are the ruminants. So these are going to graze the grass. Then their dry matter intake is 2% to 2.5% body weight. So the common feeds are more than 160 plants. Then grasses throughout the year is required. Browse, herbs, shrubs, foliage, and any type of the fruits are eaten by these animals. Then diet for the captive spotted deer is always fed with the green fodder, then leguminous fodder, cereal fodder, and 6 kg of the good quality fodder is required to this animal, and concentrates 500 grams or half kg is enough, because the body weight is less. Then mineral mixture 2% of the total diet, and fruits and vegetables are not recommended. This is important thing. Then Lucknow Zoo and the Mumbai Zoo follow the same type of the feeding pattern in different areas. So like soaked gram 300 kg, fodder about 5 kg, wheat bran 500 kg to the captive deers. Then sambar deer are the different things, but they weigh more when compared to the spotted deer, or the spotted deer, because they weigh only 35 to 50 kg. Body coat color need to be maintained to this thing, and they require dry matter to the extent of 2% of the body weight, and common feeds are the grasses, algae, for aquatic plants. Then the diet for captive sambar is the same, like green fodder, then dry fodder, mineral mixture, and the wheat bran, then black gram, wheat bran, etc. Just like our cattle feed, what they consume. Then the giraffe are the animals, they are browsers, so they require 1% to 2%. Suppose it's weighing 100 kg, then it may require 2 kg of the dry matter, but they weigh about 1200 kgs. Hence, 24 kgs of the dry matter is required. So plant leaves and bark and acacia bud twigs are required to this animal. And as they are very tall, they need to be administered with the lot of leaves which on twigs, which are very commonly available in different zoos. So they require the zerape, green fodder 5 kg, tree fodder 25 kg, then gram, any type of the gram, horse gram, Bengal gram, etc. 1.5 kg, then banana 12 pieces, gar 1 kg, carrot 1 kg, salt 50 grams, wheat bran 3 kgs, oats 5 kg, barley 1.5 kg. Then apart from this one, they also require the potato as a very high resource of the energy, like 2.5 kg. Then orange 1 kg. Then crushed maize, onion, beans, apple, tomato, oil cake. All these are very much requirement to the giraffe. Then rhinoceros are the simple stomachular animals. They weigh up to 2.2 tons or 1.6 tons in case of female. Then they are also the grazers, and the dry matter requirement is 11 to 20 kg per day per animal. It is less when compared to the other animal, and they always graze herbs and shrubs, rhinoceros. Then diet for the captive rhinos, once again we need to balance with the concentrates, then also the green gram, poultry feed, rice, sugarcane, grass, then Bengal gram, respectively like 4.6, 3, 1, 5, and 15 kgs per day. So every day they need to be fed with the cattle feed, then rice, then jaggery, etc. need to be supplemented to provide the energy and also the protein. And zebra are different type of the animal. Then they are the browsers. Then they also require the different things like the fruits and vegetables, and also the grasses, but occasionally herbs are also being fed to this animal. And captive diet for the zebra are different as usual. Different zoos are going to follow the crushed maize, crushed gram, crushed barley, carrot. So everything is 1 kg. Wheat bran 2.25 kg, salt 50 gram, green leaves 5 kgs, then green grass 2 kgs. Whereas the Lucknow Zoo follows little bit different. It is going to provide the wheat bran 1.2 kg, oats instead of the crushed maize. They are going to produce the oats, then jaggery, and then black salt. Depending upon the local available resources, they are going to change it. Then tigers always they weigh about 140 to 240 kg. Then speed is 65 to kilometers, and the lower range is 45 kilometers. So they are obligatory carnivores, means 100% they are carnivores. Then intermittent feeders. Obligation means it's their obligation. Other than the meat, they are not going to eat anything else. So the dry matter intake is 0.6 to 2.92, very low. Then common prey are the cheetah, sambar, wild boar. Then young girls are the prey of the tigers. Then captive diet to the tigers and also to the other feline is 6 to 8 kg of meat with bone every day. 6 to 8 kg. Then boneless meat 77 to 10 grams of calcium percarbonate per kg meat. And apart from this one, the vitamin A is very much required. 9,000 international units of vitamin A or vitamin D 500 international units. The lactating animals need to be given additional ration. Then amount of the feed should be increased 10 to 20% during severe cold to maintain the body temperature. So different zoos are also maintaining different ration, like the buffalo meat Then milk is also given sometimes 0.5 kg, then zero point 0.5, just like the cats. They are all cats, and hence they also require the milk. And always the buffalo meat is one of the preferred diet and chief source of the protein. Whereas the lions, the weight about 160 to 190 kg, then they are strictly carnivores. Carnivores, 100% carnivores. Then dry matter is 1.28%. Most prefer pay is Chithal, Sambar, Nilgai, and wild pigs. They always stay. But that doesn't restrict them to have the prey on other animals like the elephants also. They are going to hunt, and the deers, etc. They are going to hunt, including the bisons. Then the diet of these lions should contain every day. It should eat 36 kg of the meat and about 5 kg of the meat daily. So the diet should contain 6.75 kg of the buffalo meat and remaining boneless meat with 10 grams of the calcium carbonate and 2 TSF of the salt. During the summer season, they meat the meat is often reduced by 500 grams because the digestion may be reduced. Lactating animals should be added additional quantity of the ration. Whereas the National Zoological Park, Delhi, it always gives the buffalo meat to all the animals, especially the captive lions. And other than this thing, buffalo meat in the winter, it is additionally 12 kg is given. Then they require more. Other than this thing, the regular liver can also be administered to these animals. Leopards, they are the Panthera pardus. They weigh about 50 to 70 kg. They are fast runners, then opportunistic feeders. So they require 1.69 to 2.5% of the dry matter. Then they prey different kinds of the animals like chital, then sambar deer, langurs, etc. So langurs are the very common prey of the cheetah. So they are able to climb the trees also sometimes to hunt these animals. Hence, the captive animals should be fed every day 2.5 kg of the meat and the bones meat with 7 to 10 grams of calcium carbonate. During the winter, it should be increased to the extent of 20%. Then vitamin A 1500 and D is 1000, no, with 150 international units per kg. Then growing and lactating animals should be provided more. So usually, as usual, the leopards do also require the beef and one egg, milk 0.5 ml is also required in the animals. So the buffalo calf meat is also offered as the feed in Lucknow Zoo. Then jackal, they are the animals weigh about 8 to 10 kg and sometimes more also. They are opportunistic feeders. Then they feed on bird rodents or the birds, smaller ungulates, fruits and vegetation. They also consume. So captive diet of jackal is containing the buffalo meat or sometimes the chicken also. It is going to feed. And red panda is a weighing about 3.7 to 6.2 kg. Then it's a unique carnivore selective feeder. Then it's a bamboo eater. See, it's a very characteristic animal. It eats bamboo. Then the captive animals should be pandas should be fed with milk, sweetened gruel. Then bamboo leaves about 3 kg. It's always required to this animal. And food consumption monitored regularly. And sometimes the fruits need is more for medication purpose. The drinking water should always be available. Then every day 2 meals should be given to this animal, and the food item contains bread, banana, apple, milk, sugar, and sometimes the papaya, and also the carrot and bamboo leaves. Bamboo leaves must 3 kg every day to this captive red panda. Then Himalayan black bear is weighing about 110 to 150 kg. Then the lifespan of this animal is 25 years. So they eat fruits, vegetable, roots of some of the plants like tubers, and then berries, insects, occasionally the fish. They are also the fish hunters or fish catchers. So they require the 400 gram cereal every day, 200 pulse, 1 kg high calcium containing vegetables, and about 45 grams of the jaggery, 1 kg of the yogurt or the milk, 15 grams honey with 30 grams of the mineral mixture. Then soft food item first fed, then followed by hard roughage. Though the diet of the animals do contain all oat, rice, gram, gur, milk, palak, carrot, cucumber to the extent varying from the 100 to 300 grams, and milk is 1 liter milk is required. Whereas the common langur, we know that they always eat the leaves, fruits, berries, flower, and bark gum, and also the soils. Sometimes it's very specially this thing, and they are herbivore animal. Then frugivore means they are fruit eating animal. Then folivore means they are eating the leaf of the tree. Then captive diet of the langur contains banana, apple, some grams, then grapes also, then vegetables, okra, then bread. In as per the availability, different juice, etc., are offering this type of the food. So they are the very good browsers. Amounts of the fruit should not exceed 25% of the dry matter, and they should be browsed 400 grams per langur per day. Then peanuts etc. should be given, not as regular food, sometimes occasionally should be given. Then rhesus monkey or Macaca mulatta, so or which causes the monkey fever, especially in case of western Ghats, and also the langurs. They are weighing about 7 kgs. They are mostly herbivores. Then dry matter increases 12 grams per kg, so every day they may require 100 grams of the dry matter. Then the common food is fruit, flower, leaves, then bark, herb grass about 6%, and also the human foods. Any human food can be fed like rice and anything. Then they require the captive diet like 800 grams of the fresh fruit, 400 grams of the vegetables. Then also they require the fruits, then grams, etc. So 3 times we need to feed these macaques, and uniformity maintained in feeding schedule, and browsers should be added with the diet. So the Lucknow Zoo, they always do feed fruits, then bread, then banana, then sweet potato or carrot to this animal. And Indian squirrels do always require the fruits, then leaves, then insects. So they are all insectivorous also. So the natural diet is fruit, then leaves, nut, bark, and sometimes the wild bird egg also snatched by this animal, and many times they are also going to consume the insects. Then the nutrition diet soft fruits 25%, banana, then the pear, apple, or guava to the extent of 50 grams, 100 gram vegetables like cabbage, carrot, beans, etc. Then 50 grams peanut. Then 25 gram bread, 40 grams soaked gram, and 40 grams of the peanut has to be 4 grams of the peanut along with these things. So this is a common diet of the Indian squirrels. Then tortoise is also many times is there in the especially the animals. Then the require they are 100% herbivores, browse on grasses and also on the flower which is present on the especially the grasses need to be fed to this animal, and many times these tortoises should be fed with the green leafy vegetable 95%, and fruits just 5% is enough. Then some mineral mixture, cut grasses are also there, and sugar-rich food items like the fruit 5% total diet. So they are offered as green leafy vegetables, banana 1, tomato 25 gram, potato 25 gram, and soya flakes. So this is very interesting to learn about the wildlife nutrition. So by this we are coming to the end of the nutrition, and we today are going and completing the total nutritional, especially of the animals, including the wild animals also, including the captive animals. We have done almost all the things, and a few of the question papers are also given to you timely, and the material which are shared can be read every day, and whenever you have got the leisure, please hear to this lecture, or even audio lecture is also okay for you, and you need to study. We have already completed the third component or the third chapter, and another remaining 8 chapters, 9 chapters are there, and we have to go fast. Then study every day the question paper which is given to you, and read very well, and have a success. Thank you. Have a nice day.